Ever wondered how your favorite apps remember your name, your preferences, or even your location? It all comes down to one powerful concept in programming: variables. But here's the kicker. Not all variables are created equal. Some are meant to stay the same forever, while others can change in an instant. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use variables like a pro and write code that's clean, efficient, and powerful. Let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. A variable is like a container that holds a value. Think of it as a labeled box where you can store something, like a number, a word, or even a sentence. Here's how it works. You create a variable by giving it a name. For example, city, you use the equal to sign to assign a value to it, like Chicago, 3. And finally, you end the line with a semicolon to complete the instruction. So it looks like this. But wait, did you know variable names can include numbers too? That's super useful when you're working with multiple similar variables, like player 1, player 2, or score 2023. Oh, and that value, Chicago, that's called a string. Strings are just words or sentences wrapped in quotes. They can include letters, numbers, symbols, and even spaces. For example, pretty straightforward, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Now let's talk about the two main ways to declare variables, let and const. Use const when you want to declare a variable that never changes. It's short for constant. For example, period. If you try to update PI, you'll get an error. That's your computer's way of saying, hey, you promised this wouldn't change. On the other hand, let is for variables that can change. For example, pro tip, to make it obvious that a variable is a constant, you can name it in all caps. And if the name has multiple words, use underscores instead of camel case. For example, period. While you can use let and const interchangeably, it's best practice to use const by default. Only use let when you know the value needs to change. This makes your code cleaner and easier to debug. Now, how do you see what's inside your variables? That's where console.log comes in. It's like a magic window that lets you peek into your code. For example, when you run this, the console will display Jon Snow, not the word name, but the value stored inside it. You can use console.log as often as you want to check variables, debug your code, or even just print messages. For example, every time you log something, the computer displays it in the console line by line. It's like leaving breadcrumbs to track what's happening in your code. Here's something crucial. The order of your code matters. The computer follows your instructions line by line from top to bottom. For example, period. First it logs hello, then it updates the variable and logs hi there. If you switch the order, you'd get a completely different result. So always think about the sequence of your instructions. It's like giving someone directions. You wouldn't tell them to turn left after they've already passed the street, right? Now it's your turn. Open your code editor, play around with variables, and see what you can create. Don't forget to like and join us here so you never miss a video.